Good afternoon, everybody. This is Max from the Glass Law Group, your Long Island traffic lawyers. I wanted to take a moment today to discuss a topic that comes up very frequently in our representation of motorists across Long Island, and that is the New York State point system. In New York State, the DMV has created and maintained for a long time a point system to essentially assign a numerical value based on the seriousness of a driving offense to a person's record. In New York State, the point system is ranges in value from 2 to 11, meaning on each individual ticket, if it is considered a moving violation, a motorist can receive a point worth of 2 to 11 on their driver's license for each individual offense. Most tickets fall somewhere between 2 and 6, with the 8 to 11 points really reserved for high rates of speed when you're going 30 to 40 miles an hour over the speed limit. I want to talk about two parts of the point system that most of our clients are worried about, and that is one, the period in which New York State could potentially suspend your driving privileges, and a separate period for which the points are recorded on your record and can be viewed and factored into insurance decisions. So first, let's talk about the purposes for suspension and revocation. In New York State, a motorist is allowed up to 11 total points on their driver's license during an 18-month period. The way the 18-month period works is whenever a person receives their first ticket for points, let's say that a person has 0 points on their license right now, and on July 1st of 2020, they receive a 3-point ticket for going through a stop sign. The 18-month period in which the person can accumulate up to 11 points begins the day the ticket is received, meaning starting July 1st of 2020, you now have 3 points against you in terms of the 11-point total that you're allowed before New York State will suspend your driver's license. That period will go from July 1st, 2020 until December 1st of 2021. What that means is if the person receives an additional 8 points after the 3 points from July 1st, 2020, from that date until December 1st of 2021, 18 months, their license will be subject to suspension and revocation from the Department of Motor Vehicles. The 18-month period is really only applies to the purpose of disciplining a motorist for what the state considers poor driving. That's the 18-month period. With regard to the insurance issue, which is a separate period, an individual who receives a ticket for 3 points, let's say, let's use the example of the July 1st, 2020 stop sign ticket. In terms of insurance, the period for which an insurance company can see that offense on your driving record does not begin until you are convicted of the offense. So to be clear here, because it can certainly get confusing, for the purpose of the 18-month period in which New York State can punish a driver for accumulating 11 or more points, that begins the day the ticket is received, which in our example would be beginning on July 1st, 2020, when the first 3 points are received. For the purposes of insurance, however, the time doesn't start running until the person is convicted of the offense. That means if a person gets the 3 points, receives the 3-point ticket in July, but doesn't have their first conference, let's say, with a prosecutor until September 1st, it doesn't start running for insurance purposes until the person is actually convicted by pleading guilty in court or being found guilty after trial. Once a person is found guilty, whether by plea or trial, the conviction is then recorded on your driving record and at that point becomes accessible to insurance carriers. In New York State, if you're a New York State driver, what the insurance company can request from the Department of Motor Vehicle, and which they do request, is called your Certified Abstract of Driving. The Certified Abstract of Driving records moving violations for 3 years from the date of conviction plus the end of the calendar year in which it was received. So, for example, in our example before, if the driver receives the ticket in July 1st, 2020 for the stop sign, but isn't convicted until September of 2020, the way the recording period works would be we go 3 years from September 1st, 2020, which would put us at September 2021, 2022, 2023. So September 1st, 2023 has been 3 years. But we then need to factor in the end of the calendar year from the year it was received. which puts us at December 31st of 2023. So if you're convicted of a ticket in September on September 1st of 2020, it will remain on your driving record until December 31st of 2023, the end of the calendar year after the third year. What this means is during that period from September 1st, 2020 until December 31st of 2023, your insurance company, if you've been convicted of a points violation, can see the record of that violation for that period, for that 3 years and some month period. What that means is if there's going to be a review of your policy or a determination of a rate increase in the next policy period, the insurance company will know about that points violation for the period from September 1st, 2020 until December 31st of 2023. The certified abstract is, the insurance company cannot specifically state that it's used as that if you get a certain amount of points, it will automatically trigger an increase. But it's good for motorists to know that if you receive the conviction, it can be viewed by your carrier for up to conceivably 3.5 years, let's say, for example. The key here is, and this is why we certainly get a lot of clients that come to us for traffic tickets, is if you receive the ticket for going through a stop sign on July 1st, it will start counting against you for the purposes of the 11 points. However, if you're found not guilty, or if you take a reduced plea, let's say to a parking ticket, it will disappear from the 11-point 18-month period, and insurance will never get record of it because your driving record only reflects moving violations and suspensions and consequences arising thereof, including motor vehicle accidents. But parking tickets are not put on your driving record. So if you, on that July 1st, 2020 ticket, if you end up pleading, let's say, guilty to a parking ticket, a violation of parking near a fire hydrant, for example, which is a common one, at the time you plead guilty of the parking ticket, let's use the September 1st date again for an example. September 1st, if we were to go into court and get the ticket reduced to a parking ticket, the 3 points no longer counts against you for the 11-point total because it's as if it never happened, and your insurance company will also not receive record of anything regarding the ticket because you've pleaded guilty to a non-moving violation. The point system can be extremely confusing. It's important to speak to an attorney who knows exactly how the point system works, understands the dates that are applicable, and is familiar with the revocation and suspension process. It is not meant to constitute attorney advice. It's an attorney advertisement. That being said, if anybody has any questions regarding point violations in New York, please feel free to give us a call anytime. You will speak to me personally, and I will be happy to discuss with you your traffic ticket, the points, the consequences, and what can be done. I really appreciate everybody taking a couple of minutes to watch this video, and I hope you have a great day.